everyone. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Margie Aliprandi, and we are very excited about this training this evening. Talk about an absolutely runaway viral product. Our Snow Slim has just completely outperformed all expectations. So, as we know, we launched chocolate raspberry at our event in Dallas, and I have Jaron Gladstone with me here this evening. I'll be introducing him in just a second, but it now has a partner, the chocolate mint. So drop in the chat. It just show some love to this product. Like if you are totally falling in love with Snow Slim, just drop some love in the chat. I'd also like to know if you've tried both, tried this for the first time today out of this bottle, right? I sampled it earlier, but oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. And we all know that we blew through 10,000 bottles like in no time flat. To date, we have sold 17,000 bottles of Slim. This product is absolutely amazing. Now, one more thing. We know that Nueva, as holiday cheer, dropped $15 in everybody's gift wallet. And so a good idea, knowing that on Monday, we're going to be launching the 7-day kickstart little special packet that has 7 body and 7 nitro in it. This is an absolute must as a companion. So, good idea shared by one of my teammates, Tracy, that this is a good time to reach out to everyone. Tell them to use their $15 credit to get one of the Snow Slim either flavor so that they're really ready to go when they snag their 7-day kickstart packet on Monday or sometime before we start all of this in January. This product changes things in a big way. So very, very important. And why not use that to as reach outs for that the $15 that's sitting there. Use it or lose it by midnight Pacific time on Friday. So let me bring Jaron on. I absolutely love working with him. Jaron Gladstone is an innovator at the forefront in the health and wellness industry. He specializes in researching, manufacturing, and developing botanical therapeutics and systemic wellness solutions. His passion is transforming daily quality of life through safe, effective, and intelligently designed ingredients. You guys, here at Nueva, we just call him the wizard. We just think he's so incredibly brilliant with these Jaron's formulas. Jaron's work has been recognized in multiple clinical trials, including successful outcomes that contributed to him earning a GMP award called the CRF 111 in the dietary supplement arena, which is a super big deal. And he's known for his clarity in teaching, and he takes genuine pride when others can truly understand and apply the concepts that he's teaching. And one of the things that I appreciate the most about him is the alignment that we have with him here at Nueva. He is so committed, unwaveringly committed to safe, effective ingredients and things that truly make a difference in people's lives. So welcome, Jaron. Wonderful to have
you. Thank you for having me tonight.
Yeah, well, clearly your formulas are doing well. 17,000 bottles, you guys.
Wow.
And, weight loss season is upon us in no time. All right, Sean, could you bring up the slides and we'll dive right in? First of all, Snow Slim is definitely the sweetest way to support your slimming goals. And we now have the 2 flavors. Next slide. Sculpted by nature, and I love that word, sculpted, right? Sculpted by nature and refined by science. Next slide. We're going to dive right into the ingredients. And I know we have probably a few new people tuning in tonight. For some of you, this might be a little bit of a repetition, but that is exactly how we learn repetitively. Just talking to Jaron today, I learned new things. So it's always great to drive the information a little bit deeper. And let's start by talking about Morsil blood orange. As we know, this is a very unique ingredient, standardized extract from the Morel blood orange that's grown in the Etna region, a volcanic region where there is rich and fertile soil, unlike any place else in the world. And so just a little bit, Jaron, on Morsil blood orange. Obviously, it supports clinically supports the reduction of waist, hips, and thigh measurements. Um, just speak to this a little bit, if you would.
Sure, you said it beautifully. You might be taking over my role. So Morsil is a really unique competitive advantage that Slim has in that it's a completely vegan ingredient and is also coming from just fruits. Now, what's really unique about the Morsel is more is subtle, is it has a couple of unique actives inside of it, which we'll get to here shortly. But those active help make its unique contributions to the overall clinically supported weight loss, visceral fat loss, as well as reduction in inflammation over time. Not to mention, it doesn't have any nasty tastes or side dispositions like seed oils or some of the other weight loss actives have, giving us a very unique advantage in being able to provide a profile that reflects mushrooms, fruit and vegetable extracts, as well as some tried and true supporting ingredients.
So just with the morsel alone, you guys, I want you to recognize how powerful this is. This is one of the strongest clinically supported ingredients in the world for supporting inch loss, especially in stubborn areas. And Jaron, you mentioned visceral fat. Why
Right.
it's so important that we address visceral fat?
As a side note to that, I think it's also really important that this formulation is not stimulating, right? So a lot of formulations that you see that are looking to encourage slimming of the waist oftentimes have high doses or magnitudes of stimulants. The Morcil is a non-stimulant oriented active that supports the visceral fat loss as well as slimming around the waistline without some of the more jittery shotgun approaches.
Yeah, good point. And the reason that, I mean, that subcutaneous fat, you guys, that works its way around our organs, that is not easy to impact. And if we can support visceral fat reduction, it means healthier metabolic markers, better midsection changes, and it improves overall wellness. This is a huge selling point.
Not to mention overall inflammation. If we can reduce the visceral fat and improve the overall health around the organs, we also can reduce the inflammation signaling throughout the body. So it has a net benefit effect in reducing overall inflammatory scores or markers present in the body.
Absolutely amazing. And this is just one of the ingredients. It literally, and I'm trying to find a compliant way to say this, but well, it supports healthy fat metabolism with the anthocyanins and the phenols. It helps the body it changes how the body manages fat. Speak to that a little bit, how it relates to it, using fat as fuel, right, instead of storing it all.
Right. So the active constituents within the morsel, as well as some of the supporting ingredients in the rest of Slim, help to have the body process fat in a more optimal way. We're also able to balance insulin resistance and support optimal day-to-day function. So we can start to get rid of some of the toxins that have built up in our body over time. We have cordyceps and tremella mushrooms, which I know Margie was getting to in a second, but the tremella will help us dramatically in terms of internal hydration and providing some glow to our skin, as well as leaning on the beauty side of the formulation, where we also have the biotin and the collagen to specifically support skin, hair, and strong nails. Um, What's really keen in this formulation is the fenugreek fiber. Well, it will help with regulation in the sense of day-to-day bowel movements. It's also something that will provide some increase in feeling of fullness and
Satiety.
encourage, correct,
Yes.
and encourage the reduction of cravings. So paired with the Morsil working on a different mechanism of action, we're able to combine the two to have a really powerful all-in-one formulation, again, without leaning on some of those traditional ingredients that might be seed oil based or have some other negative connotations.
Absolutely. Let's dive a little bit deeper into cordyceps, if that's okay. So it
Sure.
supports natural energy production, ATP, right? At the cellular level.
That's correct. So the cordyceps has a really interesting component. So again, without adding things like caffeine or other type of stimulants, we can put cordyceps mushrooms in every serving, which is going to help to fortify you at a cellular level and encourage a consistent level of energy while your body is going through this detoxification, cleansing, and slimming process. On top of that, the cordyceps also has a unique ability to increase your overall oxygen um, storage in the lungs. So, encouraging more endurance, encouraging you to get out there and support your overall day-to-day quality of life, and giving you the tools that you need to boost your overall capability of what you could do today versus yesterday. Um,
So when you've got that additional energy support and the oxygen utilization, when you've got that kind of support, then your workouts are better. You have better metabolic support for exercise, and when you have better oxygen, it just you feel better doing everything you do throughout the day.
right.
What about healthy metabolism and blood sugar levels? How does the cordyceps support that?
So actually, there'll be a inner working relationship between the fenugreek and the cordyceps in maintaining healthy homeostasis and a healthy relationship. So it will help us to prevent insulin spikes and glucose spikes. Um, Assuming we're having our optimal water, that's very key with this formulation, is we want to make sure we're consuming optimal water. We do have the tremella, which is going to hold some of this hydration, but it's very important anytime we're doing something that is slimming, that we're keeping our bodies as hydrated as possible, as we see right there,
Yes,
uh,
that's it. Having a drink
to,
of water right now.
to maintain optimal response.
So, another thing that obviously I know cordyceps is great for endurance. It has strong antioxidant capacity as well. But I love the impact that it has on the immune system because it contains beta glucans. Why don't you speak to beta glucans
Sure.
and the other compounds that support a healthy immune response, right?
Sure. So beautifully said. As a base level, all mushrooms have a category of immunomodulation called polysaccharides. Specifically, in most mushrooms, this is seen as alpha and beta glucans, 1, comma 3, 1, comma 6. These beta glucans can be found in other sources, such as wheat germ, and some other unique places botanically. However, we get the benefit of the alpha and beta glucans as the infrastructure or the body of the mushroom, in conjunction with some of the other active constituents that each of the unique species has, which allows us within this formulation to really go out and be full spectrum. So it's not we're covering a single base, we're covering all the bases that are required around slimming in order to have optimization and maximum effect, again, without a over-stimulatory approach.
And so a little bit deeper again on the fenugreek, or just to, kind of sequentially talk about this as a prebiotic fiber. You mentioned the importance of satiety. I mean, truly, at the root of most people's issue is that they just have cravings.
Right.
They're
Overeating,
hungry,
stress
want
eating.
more. So if we, through the fenugreek and the prebiotic fiber, can satiate some of that and impact portion control, and if we can support the gut, I mean, everything comes down to, do
Correct.
you have a healthy gut? Then a supported gut has fewer cravings, you have better mood, smoother metabolism, and
Right.
then the bulk and the fiber, the elimination. I mean, all
Right. And then
things, the regularity.
we can see how the ingredient deck stacks for that full spectrum approach, as you just cleanly just laid out, from the morcil with the visceral fat loss, the mushrooms to promote some energy during this detoxification, the fenugreek to help with satiety as well as appetite control, and even cleaning out the gut to make sure we're keeping our bodies as fresh and new as possible on a daily basis. And then, of course, having collagen to support those changes for our hair, skin, nails, joints, tissues, etc.
Right. Well, and consistent elimination, friends, a smoother digestive system that takes down bloating. And this is something, Jaron, that people have mentioned that they experience right away. Bloating's going down. They just have more comfort and more ease. And it really helps people to feel lighter and more energized across the board. Anything on that? Anything more? Should we jump to
Well,
mushroom?
I'm not sure if I should save it for now or for a later slide, but I guess break down a little bit further. So when we go into the weeds of the morcil, we're looking at things like C3G and other anthocyanins. And what's really cool about these anthocyanins is they actually increase the AMPK activation, which is the metabolic master switch. So thinking about what these ingredients are doing on a more micro level, or the mechanism of action, or how it's actually working in on our bodies, is activating that switch, enhancing fat metabolism and mitochondrial efficiency, insulin sensitivity, and glucose utilization, which makes the profile of morcil with hexacinnamonic acid and C3G very unique for the metabolic health, weight optimization, and of course, as we've iterated, exercise performance. The other unique aspect of that is it also helps to reduce one of the inflammatory signals known as NF-XB, which would be seen over that 12-week period of time.
Super impressive. And if you chat GPT this, that is one of the main things, maybe even, that the standout things that comes up, right? It's that cyanidins, the C3G, right? Like a class of phenols that have huge antioxidant capability, right? Anthocyanins.
Yep.
Should we let's jump to tremolo mushroom, because this is a really important support ingredient. As we know, tremolo mushroom plays a significant role in snow collagen because it brings the hydration factor. And when you're bringing collagen, which people are feeling the impact of the collagen in this, even though we recommend that you pair this with snow collagen, people are getting an impact from that. But you need that hydration, because that will improve the electrical
Sure.
signaling in the fascia.
Correct. And the tremella holds 500 times its weight in water. So the more water we get in our body, the more that can be held there in order to support all of our day-to-day function, which is very critical, as
And
we know.
and then let's also speak to the fact that as people start to shed pounds, right, the skin can sag. This is
Yep. And
their
that's
tremula and
the second.
collagen. Yeah.
Mhm. So that's the secondary aspect about tremella that's not as widely known, but is really unique about our extract is it actually is abundant in something called glucuronic acid, which is the precursor to hyaluronic acid, which allows it to impart many, if not the same, benefits as hyaluronic acid in a um, vegan, non-synthesized way.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you have to grope to try to stay compliant, right? Like it's like, oh,
Right. And I want to use words that are common sense.
and that people understand. So and also tremolo mushroom also supports great immune health and gut health, right? Like there's
Correct. So
the
that's
very
also going to have the base alpha and beta glucan profile. Oftentimes, the actual concentration of the alpha and beta glucans will differ from species to species or cultivar to cultivar, but the fact remains the same that the alpha beta glucan is something that is abundant in all of mushrooms, which is a great benefit just as a base layer. And oftentimes, actually, when you look at them in the public domain, um, they're spoken to more often than not on their basis of just the alpha and beta glucans and the healing potential of that, which is why it's so critical that we're reiterating constantly to you guys the benefits outside of the alpha and beta glucans, because there are compounds within each of these mushrooms that are unique to them outside of just the polysaccharides, such as the cordyceps having the ability to increase VO2 max to help with ATP synthesis. Tremella mushroom going outside of alpha and beta glucans, holding it to water weight 500x, or having unique compounds that are precursors to other things that are in our body that encourage overall optimal health.
Thank you, thank you. So let's jump to the type 2 collagen and all of the aspects, all the benefits that it brings to the formula, from supporting joint comfort and mobility, a lean body composition, really into BMI, not just recklessly shedding a lot of pounds and, having sagging skin and all of that.
Correct. Correct. So when we think about this slimming and trimming, we want to also make sure that we maintain a good infrastructure or body structure, because if we're losing and we're not maintaining lean muscle mass and we're not supporting our joints, our bones, our skin, etc., it could lead to injuries or make someone more prone to injury. So it's incredibly important that while of course we're promoting healthy skin, strong hair and nails, we're also ensuring that the joint support and the connective tissue support is maximized throughout this formulation.
And yes, the type 2 collagen also, it also contains amino acids like glycine and proline, and that also helps the gut lining integrity. Bottom line, gut health plus fat loss, they're just deeply connected. And,
Correct.
skin elasticity and support, as well as you mentioned, supporting healthy inflammatory balance. Um, just a really important ingredient in the formula.
Correct.
Let's go to the next slide, if you would, Sean. So basically, healthy weight management support supports optimal BMI, body composition, and supports optimal weight and hip circumference. There you go. Those are the compliant ways to say it. I want to share with you just a few testimonials. Thank you, Jordan, for helping me pull these from a post that John made in Social Retail, um, because people have had some really profound benefits. I am I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but I can read the results. She says, uh, I've lost 18 pounds in a month
Oh,
with just Slim. How incredible is that? From 170 weight on 178 on November 2nd to 159.6 pounds on December 3rd. That's 18.4 pounds gone. No diet, no workouts. Just my chocolate raspberry Slim every day, less hunger, less cravings, and my fats are literally falling off. Gotta, just gotta love these testimonials. And then Tara says, I haven't even been taking Slim for a full 30 days yet, but have to give a product progress report with photos. And wow, the scale hasn't moved quite like I hoped, and I was beginning to feel discouraged, but the difference in these photos is massive. I feel so incredible and so motivated to keep going. I'm also glad I took advantage of the Black Friday sale. I grabbed the duo with 2 more bottles of Slim. Incidentally, I take Slim twice a day because I just want to multiply the benefits. But anyway, honestly, game changing. If you can see that, there you go in less
wow.
than 1 month. I know you guys that Jaron and I are the size of a postage stamp up at the top of this. Um, but I was really impressed with this one by Jen Hale Stressen. I'm so sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. But anyway, Jen says, my skin, listen to this, Jaron, my skin has totally transformed. For the first time in my adult life, my PCOS acne is basically gone. Sorry, we might just be a little non-compliant here for a second. First time ever. I started Snow Slim, the chocolate fat melter, to get a healthy burn of my stubborn menopausal old age hysterectomy fat. Sorry, I'm just being honest, she says. But the collagen and the gut ingredients in it have cleared my skin and given me a healthy glow. When your body gets what it needs, the results show. Like, that gives me chills. This stuff brings tears to my eyes. I just absolutely love people getting these kinds of results. My Lisa Booth says, I've lost 10 pounds since starting taking it. My inner thighs lost inches on my belly. My belly has gone down so much that my clothes are looser. Absolutely a game changer for me. I took the trim 10 years ago, the former product. I took the previous company product and didn't get any results like this. I am so pumped. Sorry, I didn't mean to let that slip. Melissa says 9 days, 1.5 inches, 2 pounds. Jordan Levesque says, I haven't taken updated measurements yet, but my appetite has left the chat. No more sugar cravings, appetite decreased, down 3 pounds. Love this. These are early. Definitely notice the drop in sugar cravings, which has been huge because the food noise has been a beast before Slim. I'm feeling back in control of my decisions. And and this is
Powerful.
quite it, right? Right? So incredible. So let's jump to the next slide and just maybe address some of the stuff. This was actually where we were going to talk about the C3G, which we have already discussed. But what else do you want to bring out? Anything about adaptocytes
Look
and
at my note.
increase, the antioxidant increase and the supporting the body with healthy inflammatory markers is those things are huge. And changing how your body utilizes fat. I mean, it's it's a big deal. What do you want to add to this?
So I think, and you kind of touched on this based off some things that I heard you read, which was the first time I've heard that before. Um, Having its ability to be an AMPK enhancer and being able to turn on a switch where it effectively acts on your master metabolism mechanism of action is really powerful. And because we're coming at this formulation with a multitude of ingredients that come together for a full spectrum approach, it's not just waiting on the hero ingredient of Morcil to do its thing, which it is by far effective on its own. However, we want to really impart some of the core aspects of what it means to be on Slim and what it means to have an optimal experience on Slim. Um, the C3G is also going to impart some unique benefit with the cordyceps to help with a more synergized cognitive function. And again, this is without the presence of direct stimulants like caffeine. Um, and what's cool about that is because it is an antioxidant, this C3G or these anthos actually are neuroprotective.
Wow.
So we're taking a formulation that has a bunch of benefits, and instead of having some of those more common negative drawbacks, we have ingredients that have multiple layers to them, both in their core efficacies, but also some of their secondary efficacies, which is really unique. And why we spend a lot of time in terms of our ingredient decisions. You could make a product, but then you can make a product the right way.
Amen. The synergy of this formula, really everything that you've created, Jaron, absolutely blows me away. It's the yeah, synergistic benefit. It's just absolutely magical. We're going to move now to the clinicals. There are a couple of different clinical trials. Let's
The
move to the
data.
next slide.
The,
And
the data everyone wants to see. Like,
yeah,
what
we
what
like
does
to
this
know.
actually do?
Show us the money, baby.
So, a couple of variables here. This is all done on a percentage basis. So naturally, it might be hard to envision what this actually means in terms of weight, but we could use a base example of a person that weighs 100 pounds, which is pretty unrealistic, but simple math to deduce that within the average 12-month or sorry, 12-week period of time, what the overall loss or reduction or seen said benefit is versus the placebo. Before we get into that, let's touch a little bit more on Morsel, the titration or the active dosing that was recorded, which is also seen in our SLIM to a T, and some of the other variables. So Morsel was tested with 102 plus volunteers. Some, of course, in trials end up getting let go relative to a multitude of different factors. What's key is their starting BMI was between 25 and 30, and this is kg, not lb. So there's a little bit of difference in terms of translation of what that means. A kilogram on average is 2.2 pounds. So if you wanted to do an exact conversion of that, which we're not going to do now, it'd be 25 times 2.2 versus 30 times 2.2, but kg m squared. Um,
Yeah, let's pass on that part.
yeah, let's pass on that now. So we're looking at a titration or a serving size of 400 milligrams. The trial specifically tested individuals over the course of 6 months to see what the cumulative overall response was over that period of time. And by patients or subjects, I should say, taking both either Morcil or placebo that had the perception of being Morcil still in orange powder, maybe having a similar flavor or consistency, but not actually having the same active constituents, like the C3G, like the anthocyanins, like the hexacinnamonic acid, etc. What was seen in the first 12 weeks, just around body weight, was a reduction with the Morcil of about 3.3%. So within the first 12 weeks, the average person saw a reduction of 3.3 pounds, assuming you weigh 100 pounds. If you're 200 pounds, that's 6.6 pounds reduction on average that you'll see within the first 12 weeks. Now, if we carry that over to the additional 12 weeks thereafter at the 6-month mark, we're looking at closer to 4.2%. And that's going to be an aggregated number. So your cumulative potential weight loss at 100 pounds is 4.2 pounds versus 200 pounds being about 8.4 to 9 pounds. Now, keep in mind, this is a average or done off of statistics. And Some people will be on the lower side of the scale, and some people will be on the higher side of the scale relative to what's going on in your unique set of circumstances. Well, if you look at waist circumference, we kind of see a similar image here as well. While we're not looking at this specifically as weight in pounds, this is a measurement of the waist circumference. So we can see if we started, at 30 inches, what our overall reduction would be at a 2.5% reduction from 30 inches, and subsequently at 6 months, increasing that about another 1.6% versus the placebo, which we did see some movement, but saw a significant difference in the overall morsel utilization at 3.6 versus 2%. Now, hip circumference is an interesting one. Hip circumference seen initially in the first 12 months was 12 or 2.1% reduction, so minus, versus the placebo, which we see about a 0.4 difference, which is statistically significant relative to the population in the study. And when we go to the 6-month mark or 24 weeks, we actually see another increase in that 0.7%, whereas we don't see as much of a statistically significant difference in the placebo. So we're getting an upward trend in overall reduction of hip circumference and overall weight reduction. Now, this was done again over a 6-month period and leads to the conclusion that optimally over time can have more refined benefits. However, this does not reflect a longer study than 6 months. And all subjects reported a positive, happy outcome.
It's phenomenal. I want you to just address why it's important to have a placebo-based study.
Sure. So placebo-based studies are incredibly important. Now, there's a multitude of ways that people can do placebo-based studies. This one was double blind. So what's valuable about that is all of the participants in the study have no idea whether or not they're getting morsel or the placebo. So they're effectively making a product that maybe looks like Slim, and they're making two versions of it. And internally, they know the difference, but to you as the customer, you would have no idea of the difference within that clinical setting. As to not have a mental, physical, or any other advantage to where you would be thinking otherwise associated to the benefits or lack of benefits that you're receiving. And this really helps to support bias within trials. It
Yes,
also
yes,
helps to support true, legitimate outcomes and something that's not just a one-off.
yes,
So having something with 102 volunteers is actually pretty solid. Oftentimes you see studies within the world of supplements where they've done 10, 15,
right.
25, 30, 40, 50 people, which isn't bad, but having more people gives you an opportunity to see greater levels of variance. So to see the statistics that we got as a result is really healthy.
Yes, clinically established. And my friends, once again, Morsel blood orange is one of the most profound, clinically established inch loss support ingredients in the world. We've got it. One of the things that you were saying earlier, Jaron, that I found so fascinating because I love the fact that this moral blood orange is so deep in color, right? And
Mm,
that's because of the soil and the minerals and the nutrients and so forth. You were
sure.
talking about pigment, and I'd like you to just share that with the group if you would.
Sure. So if you think about fruits and vegetables on a more deeper level, and in some instances things that come from the sea like algae, oftentimes we can get many of our colors, as as we do, from natural sources. So many of you might be familiar with blue spirulina, that is used to make things blue. What's unique about it is it's actually the phycocyanin, which is the pigment or dye that's natural, that actually has a slew of healing benefit and health benefit and therapeutic benefit, but also in small scales can be used to color things. Similarly, morcilla or raspberries, oranges, strawberries, beets, etc., are very abundant in things like anthocyanins, which typically give a more reddish purple pigment. That's going to fluctuate based off acidity and pH of the actual fruit or vegetable. But then we can see it even more similarly in plants when we see chlorophyll, more of a green pigment that would help to support light energy. So we can start to see when we get into the nitty-gritty how unique and cool actually pigments are in their ability to not just color things, but really getting into the nitty-gritty and understanding some of their efficacy or their efficacy potentials.
Right, right. So I'm blown away by the broad spectrum benefit of this product. And I am kind of curious if you haven't already dropped it in the chat, if you tried both of them, which one's your favorite? Just curious to hear about that. And then, Sean, could we go to the last slide and let's just talk about the pricing on Snow Slim on subscription, $89.99 in the US, in Canada, $123.29. If people want to purchase it in a one-time, one-off way, they can get it for $109.99 in the US and $150.69 in Canada. So, and as I was mentioning earlier, a lot of people still have $15 sitting there in that wallet. Let's have them grab this so they have what they need when we're ready to start this 7-day Kickstart challenge in January. Use that for this amazing selling product. Once again, 17,000 bottles sold so far. And we launched this, what, six, five? I'm
October.
yeah, October, right? We launched this in October, 17,000 bottles sold. So use these next 3 days up until midnight Pacific time on Friday night to get this in everyone's hands at a discount with that $15 gift that's waiting there. And as you know, you enroll somebody now and right now, a customer or a social marketer, and that $15 will appear in their wallet right away. So take advantage of that. Jaron, I really want to thank you so much for being with us this evening.
Thank you for having me.
We 100% have got a winner of a product with this. And let's drop some love in the chat for the smartest wizard I know.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for helping to host tonight, and really excited for some pretty cool and unique upcoming products in the pipeline.
We're excited about it.
That's all I could say about that.
Yep. And we want to thank Sean Azimi. Thank you so much, Sean,
Thank you, Sean. I appreciate
for
the support.
running the tech. You're the best. And everyone take advantage. That $15, get in there. Let's get this out there. Appreciate everyone. Thank you so much for joining us
Good
tonight.
night.
Thank you, Jaron. Good night.